Okay, today it is the first class regarding the NCERT based fundamental. We are going to revise once again. Already you have studied in the school. You have studied. If you are in CBSE, you might have studied all the topics. Okay, but any civil servant aspirant must start from the NCERT because the NCERT books are giving the foundation and the clarity, and the basic concept will be given in a very clear way, and those basic concept can be easily understood by the candidate also, and the definitions are very standard one. And another one point why we have to revise the NCERT once again while preparing for civil services examination, because the entire UPSC syllabus are directly aligned or connect with the NCERT. Okay, so because of these general reason, the NCERT is all the some of the selective subjects from the NCERT are very important to revise. And here we are going to start first from the 6th standard onwards, because as then only you will get not get somewhat interested. If you are starting from the 11th or 12th standard, the content will be too high. So that is why we are starting from the beginning. And a normal candidate can complete the entire 6th standard book in 3 to 4 hours. Okay, because it's a 6th standard level book, we are going to revise once again. So contents are very limited one. But at the same time, we will go in depth in every topic. For example, so this is the 6th standard social science book, and this is based on the new NCERT. Okay, because last year onwards the questions are coming directly from the new NCERT. So this is 6th social science and a new NCERT. New NCERT book. Old NCERT you might have read. Okay, but new NCERT is somewhat more information they have given. And this chapter, the first chapter, start from the a quotation, a quote from the Aryabhatta. Okay, the globe of the earth stands in space, made up of water, earth, fire, air, and it's spherical. It is surrounded by all creatures, terrestrial as well as aquatic. மீனிங் ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. இது என்னன்னா இந்த பஞ்சபூதங்களால் உருவானதுதான் இந்த பூமின்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல. ஸோ அதே மாதிரி ஸோ நிலம், நீர், காற்று, வாயு இதெல்லாம் உள்ளடக்கியதான் திஸ் எர்த். தட் வாஸ் த டெஃபினிஷன் he is giving to the globe of the earth. Okay, and now if you are having note or paper, just mention some of the points regarding Aryabhatta. Okay, so Aryabhatta, who he was lived during Chandragupta II, during the king Chandragupta II. So Chandragupta II is called as Vikramaditya. Okay, and he started one era, Vikram era. So these are some of the information you noted on some of the fast way. And so he belongs to the Gupta dynasty, and he was living during the time of Chandragupta II, and he was the ancient Indian mathematician as well as the best astronomer. Okay, so he gave too much contribution to the ancient India, like the method to calculate the square root, and the quadratic equation was given by him, and he proposed the approximate value of pi. He proposed the approximate value of pi, that is equal to 3.1416. Okay, approximate value he gave this one. And he also gave the concept that the earth rotates around in its own axis from west to east. Okay, he gave another one concept, the earth is rotate on its own axis, okay, from west to east. Then he also gave the idea of the earth is rotate around the sun and the moon is rotate around the earth. This was another one idea he gave. And he also introduced the idea of eclipse, solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. And then he gave he predicted the circumferences of the earth is around 39,968 kilometer. 39,968 kilometer, the circumferences of the earth. But later, the scientific calculation gave the earth circumference is around 40 lakhs 72 kilometer, almost similar. Okay, and due to his contribution during the ancient period, our Indian government, he launched the first satellite, Aryabhatta 1, okay, in the year 1975. So these are the important points regarding the Aryabhatta. Okay, so just note it down, and we will go to the subject now. So in this topic, only two major concepts are explained. One is about the latitude, another one is about the longitude. What is longitude? What is a longitude? What are the purpose of these two the terms, and actually what they are exactly? What is the latitude and longitude? So just to recall, when you are in the school, okay, already you might have studied if you are in whether you are state board or central board. So okay, we'll go somewhat faster way. So now, so these are the introductions are not needed, because for the child they have given a very basic way of explanation, as they are in 6th standard kids. So we no need these pages. So, but one more thing you can recall: what is physical map, what is political map, what is a thematic map. Okay, physical map means a map which contains the natural features of the earth, like the mountains, oceans, rivers. Okay, so these are all will be there in the physical map. So that is why we used to call physical map of India, physical map of world, which contains mainly on these things, the features of the earth, like mountains, oceans, and rivers will be there. The political maps, which contains countries and states and its capitals and boundaries, its main cities. So these are all there in the political map. The political map of India contains every state and its capital. Okay, then its boundary. The political map of the world contains all the world. Okay, and its boundaries. Okay, those will be there in the political map. And directly we'll move to the main concept. I think these are not important for us, for our point of view. Now come here. So the latitude. Okay, latitude and longitude. So latitude and longitude mean just they are the lines. They are not the physical lines. They are the imaginary lines. Okay, instead of calling lines, we should call coordinates. Mathematically, we should call coordinates. Okay, so these coordinates are used to locate the places. Locate the place on Earth. Okay, for example, now whenever we are booking the cab or Rapido bike and all, we will locate our place, or by default automatically that mobile phone itself will locate your current location. So those with the using of the GPS technology. So these are all locating based on these coordinates. Okay, for example, if Chennai, if you want a major city of Chennai, if you want to locate the in terms of coordinates, we should write 13.08 north and 80.27 east. Okay, I will explain what is this. Okay, so one is the Chennai latitude line is 13 degree and longitude line is 80.27. So this point is located as a Chennai. Okay, so to locate any place on Earth, we should know we should know two lines or two imaginary the coordinates. One coordinates in the latitude, another coordinates in the longitude. Okay, so how we are going to fix? So what is the relation between these two? This is what the topic is going to say. Okay, now read. Let us return to the globe. Globe, you imagine the globe. Now it's easy to identify the north pole and south pole on it, because if you are having globe and if you are remember the globe, when so it is a 83 and of degree inclined. So this is north pole and this is south pole. This axis is the earth axis. This is what the Aryabhatta says. The earth is rotates on its own axis. So if it is, this is west and this is east. So west to east it rotates. Okay, so it rotates the globe. While it rotates, the fixed points in the top and bottoms are two poles. These are the two fixed points, top and bottom. Okay, so north pole and south pole. The halfway between them is the equator. So equator means this halfway. This is the equator. Not a straight line. Okay, a parabolic line will be there. This is we can call equator. This is equator. The equator we are mentioning is a 0 degree. Right? And imagine that you stand on the equator. Okay, imagine you are standing in the equator and you are traveling towards one of the poles. Either you go in this direction or you go in the southward direction. So whenever you are traveling from equator to either of the pole, the distance will be increasing. This is what the book says. You travel towards any of the pole, your distance from the equator increases. Latitude measures this distance from the equator. So one of the main contribution of the latitude is it measures the distance from the equator. How long or how far away from the equator. This is what, because we have taken equator as a reference point in the latitude line. So that is 0 degree. At any point of this travel, you can draw an imaginary line that runs east and west parallel to the equator. Such a line is called parallel of latitude. So you can line any number of lines you can write like this one. Okay, it's a parallel to the, so here likewise in the southward direction also. So whenever you are drawing this line, then every point you can mention 1 degree, 2, 3, 4, so up to 90 degree you can. Okay, so 0 to 90 degree up to north pole and 0 to 90 degree up to south pole. So this is what I said. If Chennai is located in 13 degree north means, so this is the half point. Equator is the half of the exactly half of the earth. So towards the north pole, it is start from 0 to 90, and towards south pole again it start to 0 to 90. So in 13 degree north means 0 to around 13 degree this place. Okay, that is what the latitude means here. Then now, again, it is easy to note the globe that the largest circle is equator. It's another one point, because the big the center imaginary half of the imaginary line, that is equator. That's the big largest circle. So while the circle marked by the parallel of latitude grows smaller as we move northward or southward, that is obviously true. Equator மேல போக போக so circle will be getting smaller. ஏன்னா இப்ப 90 டிகிரி பார்த்தேன்னா ஆர்டிக் சர்க்கிள் சொல்லும். இங்க சவுத்ல 90 டிகிரி சொல்ல அண்டார்டிக் சர்க்கிள் வரும். Okay, so these are all, the circle becomes smaller. So largest circle is in the equator. That is what they are saying. The parallel lines, parallel circles are becoming smaller when we draw the imaginary line parallel to the equator. Okay, parallel to the equator or from the equator towards to either of the pole or north pole or south pole. So latitudes are expressed in degree. That's what I already said. 0 degree, 0 degree, 10 degree, 20 degree, 30, 60, 45, so 90 degrees. So all the latitude lines parallel to the equator are expressed in degree by convention only. Degree because it's a one full circle we are getting. Okay, it's not we are not drawing that imaginary line one half of the earth. We are drawing the imaginary line to the entire globe. Okay, that is a complete circle we are getting. So circle is a 360 degree. So that is easier for the calculation. That is why for convention we are expressing the latitude in degree. The equator is a latitude 0 degree, that just now we heard. Then while the latitudes of the two poles are 90° north and 90° south respectively. Okay, this is noted as 90° north and 90° yes. In the letters S represent south and letter N represent northern side. Okay, there is a connection between latitude and climate. Now the link between the latitude and climate. Okay, just imagine in the latitude the climate is too hot. Sorry, in the equator the climate will be very hotter. And if you are moved towards to the pole, whether you take north pole or south pole, so where it's a very cold climate is there. So we can now we can come to a conclusion, when you are moving from equator towards to the pole, the climate is changing from hot to cold in any direction. Whether you travel from the equator towards the north side or travel from the equator to the south side. So anyway, the temperature is varying from the equator. This is what this paragraph says. There is a connection between latitude and climate. Around the equator, the climate is generally hot. Okay, so it is also called torrid climate, and we will see in we will study in deep why the equator is generally hot in the climatology topic. Okay, and why the temperature is somewhat moderate in between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, and beyond that why the temperature is reducing. So these explanation we will say in the climatology topic. Okay, so as you travel away from the equator towards one of the two poles, in other words, as your latitude increases, the climate becomes more moderate, and the closer to north or south pole, the climate grows colder. Okay, so that is very frigid climate. Frigid won't change it that much. Vary go for no variance will be there, and moderate the temperate climate will be there in between the northern and equator, or south and south pole and equator, between these two. And you will learn in science why this is so, and also why we explain different season in the course of year. அதாவது எதனால இந்த temperature, torrid temperature and another temperate climate and cold climate or frigid climates are there, that will be explained in the climatology topic. This is what they say. So now see, check this diagram. This is what I said. This is one of the globe. This globe shows both the parallel of latitude and meridians of the longitude. So till now we have learned what is latitude. We did not come to a point for the longitude. So this is what these lines I said. This is the largest line. Which one? The red one, equator. They have mentioned this is equator. This is center line of the globe. Okay, that mentioned 0 degree. This is reference 0 degree. Okay, then this is here, it is 30 degree north. Here it is, this line 30 north, and this line, this is 60 degree north. Okay, and this circle, this is 90 degree north, the north pole. So similarly, the southern tip of the southern pole, the 90 degrees south will be there. Okay, so this is what we learned. When we are moving from the equator towards to the pole, the circle diameter will reduce. Okay, so the largest circle is equator. This is what, and all the lines are parallel to the equator. Okay, NM. So this doesn't mean this is for our convention. We have taken only 10, 20, 30. Like that we have, but generally it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 90 degree circle is there. Okay, and this is what we are northern latitude, and below the equator is a southern latitude. Okay, this is what the latitude. Now come to the longitude. So longitude means it's a long, we can say long lines. So pole to pole, the longitude means pole to pole. That means north pole to south pole. All lines will start from the north pole and south pole, end from it, either way. Okay, all lines, the ending point and starting point are both, everything will start from in the pole to pole only. That is what longitude lines. Okay, again, keep it in mind, these lines are imaginary lines. And why we use these lines? For various purpose, to calculate the specific location and identify the climate climate of the particular place. So for that we are using these lines. One, then and if you are in confused with between the latitude and longitude, latitude in school you might get some trick. Latitude is a flat, latitude, latitude, that means the flat lines are called latitude. Okay, and the longer line between the north end of the two poles are called longitude. So that way you can remember to avoid the confuse. So now come to what are the longitude. So imagine now you travel from north pole to south pole. Okay, latitude படிக்கும்போது என்ன introduction இருந்தது? Imagine when you are traveling from the equator to any one of the pole. Okay, so latitude means the reference point is the equator. So longitude means the reference point is both the poles, north pole and south pole. That is why in the school book they gave the explanation in such a way that imagine now you travel from north pole to south pole by the shortest possible line. Okay, observe the globe. You will see that instead of passing through Europe and Africa, you could just as well as pass through Asia, the distance would be the same. These lines are called meridians of longitude. They are the half circles running from one pole to another. Simple definition for the longitude is they are the half circle running from one pole to another pole. That means of pole to pole. What they say is here the one more new concept comes here, the meridians of longitude. Okay, so meridians always one more in the school you have heard the prime meridian. Okay, so prime meridian is fixed by one line, because if you take one ball, we can like n number of line we can draw. Okay, we can draw n number of line from north to the top to bottom. Okay, but like one reference point in the latitude which is called equator ni or reference point நமக்கு எப்படி latitudeல கிடைச்சதோ அதே மாதிரி we must need one reference point. So that reference point they fixed as a prime meridian. Okay, which pass through this, through London. Okay, this is a prime meridian, and this prime meridian they fixed this 0 degree. Okay, and இதுல இருந்து east direction, இதுல இருந்து west direction. Okay, and இதுல half னு வரும்போது it is not 90 degree, it is not 180 degree. So eastern side 180 degree, western side 180 degree. Okay, so this is we can see. You will also learn in directly come here. The sun illuminated slowly rotating the globe eastward. We can note that for some places on the earth it is morning, while the other place is midday. And the measuring longitude, let us go. Okay, to measure longitude we need to define a reference point called prime meridian. This is what I said now. ஏன்னா latitude ஒரு reference point, that is central line. So central line, that is equator, அதோட value we fix 0 degree. So அதே மாதிரி we have the one reference point in the longitude. அந்த reference point அதுதான் called prime meridian. It is also இது one more name is there. This also you might have learned in the school, that is Greenwich meridian. Because எதனால அது Greenwich meridian சொல்றாங்க, in the year 1884 some nations decided that the meridian passes through Greenwich, an area of London in England. It would become the international standard for prime meridian. It is marked as 0 degree longitude. Now did you understand? ஏன்னா latitudeல வந்து ஈக்குவேட்டரை ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்றது very easy, because entire globe half ஆ பிரிச்சிருக்கும். அந்த half ஆ பிரிச்சு center line தான் நம்ம greater circle சொல்லி 0 degree it become easy. But longitude group of nation they decided எந்த இடத்தை வைக்கலாம். அதுக்கு தான் one example they gave. ஏசியாவுக்கு ரீச் ஆகணும்னா ஷார்டஸ்ட் வே ஆஃப் ரூட் எதுவா இருக்கும்னு பார்க்கும்போது they come to a conclusion Okay, let us draw one imaginary line through the Greenwich, which is in London or England. Sorry, in England. Okay, that line we can fix as a prime meridian. So from that line we can calculate the time. We can calculate time. We can calculate the intersection point of the latitude and longitude and latitude to fix any particular point or place of the Earth. Okay, this is what they decided the year 1884. So just as a latitude is the measure of the distance from the equator. If you travel towards one pole, longitude is the measure of the distance from the prime meridian. It is the difference between longitude and latitude. Latitude எதை measure பண்ணுது? ஈக்குவேட்டர்ல இருந்து எவ்வளவு தூரத்துக்கு you are traveled. Okay, longitude எதை measure பண்ணுதுன்னா distance from the prime எவ்வளவு தூரம் you have traveled from the prime meridian. லண்டன்ல இருந்து எவ்வளவு தூரம் ஈஸ்ட் வந்திருக்கிற, லண்டன்ல இருந்து எவ்வளவு தூரம் வெஸ்ட் சைடு போயிருக்கிற. This is what the longitude tells to you. Okay, so if you travel along equator, longitude 2 is measured in degree. அதுவும் நம்ம பார்த்தோம், westward or eastward. Okay, it increases its value from 0 to 180 degree. I said why we are taking 180 degree, because it divide the entire globe in the two half from the top to bottom. Okay, which means entire 360 we divide to 180 this side and 180 west side. That is why 180 degree west and 180 east it is mentioned. For instance, using round, okay, New York longitude 74 as some example diagram. The similar example we can take. Already we said now in Chennai, it's located 13.08 north and 80.27 east. 27 east. அப்படின்னா என்ன, 80 டிகிரினா 80 டிகிரி 27 மினிட் ஈஸ்ட்ல இருக்கு அப்படின்னா கிரீன்விச்சை கம்பேர் பண்ணுங்க. கிரீன்விச்ல இருந்து சென்னை வந்து ஈஸ்ட் சைடுல இத்தனை லாங்கிடியூட் கழிச்சு இருக்கு. தட் இஸ் த மீனிங். Okay, so this is what the latitude and longitude together are the two coordinates of a place. With them you are now able to locate any place on the earth. அப்படின்னா என்ன, suppose this is one of the latitude line. Okay, the latitude line, this is called 13.08 and one longitude comes like this. Okay, this longitude degree how much? It is 80.27 east. This two lines are intersect one point. This point is Chennai. So this is eastern side. Okay, this is what how the latitude lines and longitude lines are helping to locate a point on the earth. Okay, the intersecting point the either. So either based பண்ணி தான் the GPS technologies they are fixing the various places and over streetல வீடு எங்க இருக்குது, எந்த இதுல இருக்குது. So everything will be measured. So now look this all these diagrams. This is equator and this is the Greenwich meridian or prime meridian. Okay, and in the prime meridian split the entire globe into two, western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere. அதே மாதிரி similarly the equator separate the entire globe into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. This is what the difference between these two imaginary lines. Okay, but together these two lines gave the exact position of a place on earth. Okay, so one is start from 0 at the prime meridian, that is longitude. One is start from 0 degree from the equator, that is latitude. Okay, the latitudes are horizontal lines, horizontal line, and the longitudes are vertical lines. So vertical lines means between pole to pole. Okay, so don't miss out one green box is given here. What it says, you read it. The Greenwich meridian is not a first prime meridian. There were others in the past. That is why the group of nation 1884 they decided this is the one. So previously, in fact, many centuries before, Europe, India had a prime meridian of its own. Okay, நமக்குன்னு ஒரு prime meridian வச்சிருந்தோம். அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் we were calculating the time and exact location. Okay, and this was called Madhya Rekha, that is middle line. and this was passed through the city of Ujjaini. Today the city is called Ujjain. So which was a reputed center for astronomy for many centuries. Okay, so Varaha Mihira, ivar one of the famous astronomer. Okay, he worked and these lines in 1500 1500 years ago. So Indian astronomers were aware of the concept of latitude and longitude, including the need for a zero or prime meridian. The Ujjaini meridian became the reference for calculation in all Indian astronomical texts. Okay, இது உங்களுக்கு புரியுதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Okay, before Greenwich, every nation like Europe and India, we had a different prime meridian, and we consider 1500 years before we consider our prime meridian is the Madhya Rekha. Madhya means middle, Rekha means line. Okay, so this Madhya Rekha passes through the Ujjaini. Okay, so this was calculated by whom? The Varahamihira, a famous astronomer during the ancient period. So entire all other astronomers in the ancient and medieval period, they consider the Ujjaini or the Madhya Rekha as the prime meridian. Later only, after independence, before independence, of the 19th century, all the nations, they started to accept the prime meridian or Greenwich meridian as the standard one, central one. So this is what in the map it shows how ours is 75.8 degree east. This is longitude. Okay, this pass through the Ujjaini. Okay, another points cities near to the our prime meridian, the Delhi, Kurukshetra. Okay, Malvanagara and Mahismati or Mageshwar, then the Bangalore, Kumari or Kanyakumari. Okay, and this map talks about the ancient city and modern city. This one, that circle with the center are ancient city, and these are modern city. Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai, Bangalore, and Mumbai. These are modern city. And these are ancient city, and ancient time these places are called Kurukshetra and Rohitka. Now it is called Rohtak. Then Ujjain, now it is called as Ujjain. Then Mahismati, now it is called as Mageshwar. And then Kumari, now it is called as Kanyakumari. So the Ujjaini, the prime meridian used in the ancient Indian astronomy. Cities marked with a circle mentioned the astronomical text, which was taken from the previous text. So it's not it. So now another one concept, understanding the time zone. Okay, so time zone, how we are calculating the time. If you see, now it is 7 o'clock. Now it is around 8 o'clock night. At the same time, in the opposite side, the New York side, it is 8 o'clock daytime. Okay, that's daytime. This is night time. Okay. So how these times are calculated? So these times are calculated with the help of Greenwich lines or prime meridian. Okay, this is what they are explaining in this paragraph. Let's make the globe rotate again from west to east. So west to east, rotate பண்ணி பாருங்க. That is how our planet spins around the axis, because normally the Earth is rotating on its own axis from west to east. So make a full turn every 24 hours. Okay, அப்போ full turn என்னது? ஒரு முழு சுற்றுனா 360 டிகிரியா? but 360 degree ஒரு full day 24 hours. சரியா? அப்ப 24 hours அப்படிங்கும்போது every 1 hour how much degree earth might have crossed, எத்தனை டிகிரி சுத்தி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா 15 டிகிரி சுத்தி இருக்கும் every 1 hour. so every 2 hour 30 degree complete பண்ணிருக்கும். சரியா? so every 6 hour 90 degree complete பண்ணிருக்கும். okay, every 12 hour 180. அப்போ ஒரு one full half முடிஞ்சா. okay, so this is what the calculation goes. For this easy calculation, all the latitude and longitudes are mentioned in degree. Okay, let us now mark the meridians of the latitude every 15. okay, this is what. So 15 degree, 13 west, 40 west, again, this 0 degree is the Greenwich meridian or prime meridian, and 15-degree east, 30-degree east, and 45-degree east. This direction, this is this direction. And every 1 hour, this is 1 hour, this 2 hours, 3 hours, like this. Okay, and it is the same as adding 1 hour of local time with each meridian. If it is at 12 p.m. or noon at Greenwich, இப்போ நம்ம இதை வந்து 12 p.m. எடுத்துக்கிட்டேன் அப்படின்னா, ஓகே, அதாவது லண்டன்ல வந்து 12 மணி, மத்தியானம் 12 மணின்னா, ஓகே, லண்டன்ல இருந்து 15 டிகிரி கழிச்சு, ஓகே, 15 டிகிரி அப்புறம், லண்டன்ல இருந்து 30 டிகிரிக்கு அப்புறம் 2 மணி நேரம் தாண்டி இருக்கும். அதாவது இது 12 p.m. அங்க 2 p.m. ஆயிருக்கும். This is what. And இப்ப நமக்கு எத்தனை டிகிரி வந்து 80 பார்த்தோமா? இந்தியாவோட லாங்கிடியூட் என்ன பார்த்தோம்? 80 தானே பார்த்தோம். 80.27 டிகிரி தானே பார்த்தோம். 80.27. இப்ப இந்த 80னா அப்ப எத்தனை ஹவர் வந்திருக்கும்? 15ல பார்க்கும்போது 5 into 15, 75. Approximate 80 degree longitude நம்ம இருக்கிறோம் அப்படிதானே? 80 டிகிரினா 5 into 15 எவ்வளவு ஆச்சு? 75 டிகிரி. கரெக்டா? அப்ப லண்டன்ல உள்ள டைமும் நமக்குள்ள டைமும் அரௌண்ட் 5 hours டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஓகே, அரௌண்ட் 5 hours. அப்புறம் இந்த again ஒரு 5 டிகிரி மார்க் பண்ணா ஒரு 5 hours 15 minutes or 20 minutes வரும். So approximately we can calculate 5 hours. This is what meaning. Okay, லண்டனுக்கும் நமக்கும் உள்ள இது. இப்ப லண்டன்ல வந்து 12 மணிக்கு மேட்ச் ஆரம்பிக்கும் அப்படின்னா, ஓகே, 12 மணிக்கு மேட்ச் ஆரம்பிக்கும் அப்படின்னா நமக்கு அது எத்தனை மணிக்கு தான் ஒளிபரப்பாகும்? நம்ம லோக்கல் டைம்னு சொல்லும்போது எத்தனது? அது 5 hours in the evening. This is what meaning. Let us see any example is there. If it is 12 p.m. or noon in the Greenwich, it is 1 p.m. local time in the 15 degree, 2 p.m. in the 13, so 3 p.m. in the local time of particular place. So like that 5 p.m. in the western side, but going towards west. In other way, in the 11 a.m. local time at the 15 degree west. So in the western side பார்க்கும்போது minus பண்ணிக்கோ hours, eastern side வரும்போது plus பண்ணிக்கோ. Why we have plus 1? Why we are doing minus 1 hour and plus 1 hour? Because earth rotate west to east. This is the meaning. So minus 1 hour. Okay. இதுல ஏதாவது டவுட் இருந்தா கேட்டுக்கோ. இது வந்து some question they used to frame. See this diagram. இதுல பாரு. இது Greenwich. இத வந்து 0 டிகிரி மென்ஷன் பண்ணிருக்கோம். 0 ஹவர்னு வச்சுக்கோ. ஓகே, சோ 0 ஹவர் போது இங்க எல்லாம் வரும்போது the plus. So here in this direction it is minus. Okay, and this is 11, this is 11. If you take India, around 5 compared to Greenwich, நம்ம பார்த்தா ஒரு 5.5 hours டிஃபரன்ஸ் வரும் இந்த இடத்துல. ஓகே, இப்ப ரஷ்யா பாத்தீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோ, ரஷ்யாவுக்கு இந்த எண்ட்ல இருந்து இந்த எண்ட் வரைக்கும், so different time zone they will mention, but India we are having only one time zone. Okay, and the time zone we used to fix 83 end of degree we use longitude we have fixed. Okay, our time zone. சரியா? ஏன் டிஃபரெண்ட் டைம் ஜோன் பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, ஏன்னா இப்ப பாரு, இப்போ ரஷ்யா எடுத்துக்கோ, இப்ப இந்த இடத்துல 2 p.m. அப்படின்னா சேம் ரஷ்யா இங்கேயும் இருக்குது. இங்க இதோட பரப்பு இவ்வளவு தூரம், இவ்வளோ லாங்கிடியூட் கிராஸ் ஆகுது. அப்ப இங்கேயும் 2 p.m. தானே காட்டணும், பட் இங்க 11 p.m. இருக்கும். So that is why they will change different time zone they have kept. Okay, because of the different time zone, such a way that the entire Russia they can maintain the equal time. Okay, this concept once again we will clearly we will study. Let us see here. For example, from the above expression, it may seem as if every country has one standard time. That is not always the case. some countries like Russia, Canada, or US, they are too large to have a single time zone. Yeah, too large in எதை mention பண்றீங்கன்னா longitude வந்து every 15 degree தானே mention பண்றோம். Okay, so every 15 degree போது, so according to their area, okay, it is too high. If you take Canada, so this up to here, and if you take USA, so அதோட பரப்பளவு அதிகமா இருக்கு, the area is too high, so that is why they cannot fix one single standard time. So that is why they have multiple time zones are there. For example, the US has 6 time zones, Russia has around 11 time zones, which means that traveling across Russia from east to west, you will need to readjust your watch 10 times to align with the local time. Okay, என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, சப்போஸ் நீ ரஷ்யால இங்க இருந்து ஃபிளைட்டோ வண்டி எடுத்து போறேன்னு வச்சுக்கோ. ஸோ இங்க வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் இந்த இடத்துல ஒரு டைம் ஜோன், எகைன் யூ ஹேவ் டு ரீஅட்ஜஸ்ட் த வாட்ச் ஆர் யுவர் டைம் மெஷின், யுவர் வாட்ச் அக்கார்டிங் டு த நியூ டைம் ஜோன். அப்புறம் சப்போஸ் இங்க இருந்து கிளாஸ் இங்க ஒரு நியூ டைம் ஜோன், ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் டு அட்ஜஸ்ட் யுவர் வாட்ச் அக்கார்டிங் டு திஸ் டைம் ஜோன். Okay, so like that, wherever you are there, so around 10 times you have to adjust your watch. And India அப்படி கிடையாது. India we are fixed only one time zone. Okay, so that is what mentioned from west to and eastern state up to eastern states. So that's no problem at all for the case of India. Similarly, the globe. Okay, finally, while the prime meridian was fixed at the Greenwich, the opposite line, approximately 180 latitude. Okay, that's the international data line. International data line, what they are telling, if one line is, if this is which one? If this is prime meridian, means another one common line is there, the 180 degree, where it ends. This too. This is called international data line. Idea that 180 degrees international data line is what they are. So as you can see on the map, you come here. So whatever they showed in this diagram, that they are showing in the globe. So India பொறுத்த அளவுல Greenwich line ல கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது நமக்கு வந்து 5 hours 5 minutes difference இருக்குது. Okay, yeah, this is what they say. And some of the questions and activities, kids level questions, இத கொஞ்சம் நீங்க சால்வ் பண்ணி பாருங்க. Why it is 5:30 p.m. in India when it is 12 p.m. or noon in London? This is what just now we got an explanation. Then 6th question பாருங்க, Delhi and Bangalore latitude வந்து 29 degree north and 13 degree north. Their longitudes are almost same. Delhiயும் Bangalore 77 degree east. How much will be the difference in local time between these two cities? ரெண்டு சிட்டிக்கும் எவ்வளவு டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கும்? அப்ப அந்த எவ்வளவுக்குள்ள எத்தனை டிகிரி, 29க்கு நார்த்துக்கும் 13க்கும் எவ்வளவு டிஃபரன்ஸ்? 1 ஹவர்ல 15 டிகிரி லாஞ்சிடியூட்ல எர்த் மூவ் ஆகுது. அப்ப எத்தனை மினிட் வந்து டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கும்? கால்குலேட் பண்ணிக்கோ. நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் you give me the answer. 6th one, எதெல்லாம் ஃபால்ஸ், ட்ரூ ஆர் ஃபால்ஸ், இந்த 7th சால்வ் பண்ணு. After one you read once again. Okay, this is what. So okay, anybody has doubt in this chapter? Doubt irukna sollu. Yeah, but once again you read this chapter. I will share this PDF in the group. Okay, so read it once. ஏன்னா இதே டாபிக் தான் once again you will study in the geography. So 6th standard la social science la first chapter is related to geography. So other chapters will cover the basic history and civics and all. Okay, so don't get confused on this latitude and longitude. Once again you read, and some of the points I mentioned in the beginning about Aryabhatta, adhe note பண்ணிடுங்க. If anybody have noted in a clear way, you share it in the group itself. Okay, so today shall we wind up the class now? So tomorrow onwards we can go through the next chapter. இதுல ஏதாவது டவுட் இருக்குன்னு கேளு. ஏன்னா only 3 concepts we got learned. Latitude என்ன, longitude என்ன, அதுக்கப்புறம் how we are using this latitude and longitude to fix the place and to find the time, and time zone na enna, எதனால different time zone we are some countries are following. So shall we wind up then? ஓகேங்களா? Ristesh, Sakshini, Mohammed, Kishore, Lokesh. Shall we wind up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you then.
Yes, sir.
Okay.